Hello and thank you for joining us on the Thursday edition of Journalist Hangout. I'm Benga Oreshegun. Today on the program, federal government directs completion of ministerial handover by October 30 following cabinet reshuffle. Yobe state government hands over newly established grazing reserve to herdsmen. And later on the show, former President Obasanjo and Danjuma decried dwindling quality of leadership in Nigeria. I'll be hanging out with Tunde Abaton and Tony Onweje. Journalist Hangout starts right now. All right, let's begin the conversation. We begin with the quest for energy security in Nigeria. The Minister of State for Petroleum Resources and Gas, Ekperike Ekpo, has directed the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, and the liquefied petroleum gas, LPG, producers to stop the export of LPG produced in the country, effective from the 1st of November. The directive comes as part of measures to address the rising cost of LPG and economic hardship in the country. At a meeting with stakeholders in Abuja, Ekpo expressed concerns over the continuous surge in LPG prices. He noted that the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, NNPDRA, will collaborate with stakeholders to create a domestic LPG pricing framework within 90 days, linking the price to the cost of local production rather than international markets. All right, I'll start with you today, Abaton. Will this ban on LPG exports mitigate the high cost of cooking gas?
Well, I think so far it is purely a domestic issue. Production of LPG gas is purely domestic. There's no reason why the NLG should allow it to be subjected to the dictates of the international price. So far we have it in Nigeria. We have it here. And taking into consideration the fact that that's about the best option for Nigeria, free Nigeria to use now. They cannot use petrol. They cannot use kerosene. And you cannot ask them to go to the bush to begin to gather firewood. So for now, so far we produce everything in Nigeria, that is sourced in Nigeria. Nigeria has more gas than even the PMS or diesel or some other thing. So let us situate it within the local context before we begin to export it. You can't even believe that nearly all manufacturers in Nigeria have a national pension for wanting to take their goods outside Nigeria because they want to make more money. So far it is solely a Nigerian product. I think we should look at the circumstances within the Nigerian situation, taking into consideration the hardship that people are going through. The price of cooking gas should not even be more than probably 50 naira per liter, rather than taking to 150 naira. So when you don't allow, already in the past, you used to say that people are afraid to use cooking gas.
Because of the safety concerns.
Because of the safety concerns. But gradually it has dawned on Nigerians that it is the cheapest way to perform your domestic cooking and some other things. So in that wise, because of the economic situation Nigeria is passing through vis-a-vis the price of fuel, I think it is incumbent on the government. And I think what the minister has done is in the right sense by asking them to not subject the price of cooking gas to the dictates of global market, especially our neighboring West African countries. So let us give a relief to Nigerians. Let Nigerians have a feeling that this is something. The gas issue has not been mismanaged. We thank God that, unlike the PMS or this have been mismanaged over the years, just for now. So let Nigerians feel the impact of having something on their own, so that they can. You can't imagine spending 80% of their resources on transportation, and only to get home they cannot even get gas to buy. So I think it is a right step in the right direction, and it should be enforced. Because the problem now is that enforcement is another thing. We should enforce it to make sure that that price comes down to the barest minimum, which the African Nigerians that have been convinced over the years to start using gas, they use it and they feel a sense of relief because of the economic hardship that Nigerians are going through now.
Well, my gas cylinder is about to finish, and I'm scared right now. A 12.5 kilogram goes for about 17,000 naira. Yes. But with this ban, will it stop the high cost of cooking gas?
is supposed to. I think that should be the target. That should be the intention of the Minister of State for Gas or the federal government. Because when you stop importing it, in other words, you have surplus within, I believe it will affect the price of cooking. You know, let's not take it out of context. You know how we got here today. Initially, before now, people were using kerosene, people were using charcoal. In Lagos, I was born in Lagos, yeah. And then those days I can recall how some people used to use charcoal. Charcoal, you buy charcoal and then is it aduga or something like that? Aduga. And you cook peacefully. Then alternatively, you go on kerosene. But over time, what kerosene suddenly it turned into gold that people couldn't access it anymore. And after that, Nigerians were convinced to go for gas. Initially, the fear of gas burning and all that. But with time, Nigerians embraced it. Started going for 1 kg, 3 kg.
You talked about importation. Nigeria is predominantly a gas province. Now, according to they said, Nigeria's gas reserve stands at 209.26 trillion cubic feet. How come we are in need of what we have in quantum?
But
is that not surprising?
You just said it. Which means we know our problem. But now, that's what the present administration is trying to address. We have this thing in volumes. Let's focus on it. Let's stop importing it for now. Like some states in the north where the governors are saying, no, for now, don't import our agricultural products. So we can feed, let it circulate. So if government can actually do it, we have it in surplus. That is, everybody knows that. So it takes a government to understand this, to say, okay, this is the time. Let's do this thing correctly. Don't import this. Let's make sure first that our people get this, not just getting it, but at affordable prices. First and foremost, because today we're talking about 8,500 for a kilo of gas. So if you're going to, if you're using, I think 3 kg of gas, which you're talking about 4,500, then the next one is 5 kg, and then it goes up. And how many people can afford it? So maybe at the end of the day, it will affect the price. I think I want to commend government if they can actually sit on it and make sure it happens. You get what I'm saying? Because it's not about saying it. It's about implementation and make sure it is effectively executed. Nigerians need to. Because just go around Nigerian homes. Everybody is using gas now. So if they cannot access gas, LPG now, what's the next option? It's not kerosene, of course. So they have to go into the forest looking for firewood. We can't get charcoal anymore. So I hope they stay on it and actually make it work.
Like I said, Nigeria is predominantly a gas province. Now, how can we harness these resources that we have in quantum? How can we stop gas flaring, importation of gas? How can we harness this God's gift to Nigeria?
The thing is that over the years, Nigerians have the penchant for not knowing how to manage its abundant resources.
Okay.
Like I was telling some people earlier today, Nigeria is a land flowing with milk and honey that has been left untapped for over 6 decades now. Do you know that as far back as 1975, the late Chief Obafemi has been talking about stopping gas flaring? As far back as 1975, that we have been flaring gas since then, and we should have stopped it by 1980. So by now, Nigeria should be a net
exporter of gas
to the West Africa.
But we are not.
To Africa. But we are not, because we lack the natural ability or political ability to push it. And secondly, the fact that, look at the case of the NNPC. NNPC, Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, was set up to be a corporation, not to make profit. So by the time now that we have a government that said that now it is the honeymoon is over, we want to make profit.
All right.
That's not to punishment for Nigeria.
All right. So Sunday, we have a caller who's joining us right about now. Yakub, so nice to have you join us on Journalist Hangout.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good evening, and then good evening to your colleagues in the studio. For me, as your colleagues rightly says earlier, as good as this innovation that the government is trying to stop the exportation of
We lost that call there. But anyway, you were saying, just wrap up on what you were saying.
Well, with that, I wish you that like an NNP officer was having a discussion with us about 2 weeks ago. He spoke about the fact that when you leave the administration of oil reserve in Nigeria into the hands of the bureaucrats, the civil servants, you are likely to get what you are getting today. So we are reaping for lack of management. And that there was a time the NRG wanted to recruit experts. And they now ask NNPC to give them somebody. Okay. By the time they gave them the best, it was not the least for the LNG. So they have to get him. So let us make sure it is business. If it is done as a business venture,
it will be taken
seriously. And if it is taken seriously, Nigeria will be better for it. We should be exporting it to West African countries after satisfying local demand.
All right, then. All right, gentlemen, let's move straight to our next conversation, where the impact of decisions of policy